The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers released a long-awaited report today outlining possible measures to prevent Asian carp from getting into the Great Lakes. The report examines the Brandon Road Lock and Dam project near Joliet, Illinois, which the Army Corps considers an ideal site for preventing invasive species, such as Asian carp, from progressing further upstream. In June, a live Asian carp was discovered just 9 miles from Lake Michigan and beyond the electric barriers that are meant to keep the destructive fish out. For more, Darielle Snipes is joined by Great Lakes Today reporter Elizabeth Miller. Darielle?
And welcome, Elizabeth.
Thanks for having me.
So this study, what does it say about what's already being done, and what do Great Lakes stakeholders need to do to change things that are already happening?
Well, it first says that we're not doing enough to prevent Asian carp from getting into the Great Lakes via Lake Michigan, which of course we all kind of know now that we saw live Asian carp found, like Rick said in the intro just there. Right now there are electric barriers in place in the Chicago Sanitary and Ship Canal, but this report calls for much more extensive efforts to keep Asian carp out. And it analyzed 3 different modes invasive species like Asian carp used to get into the Great Lakes: swimming, floating, or hitchhiking from on other barges. And so the study calls for an extensive plan that utilizes nearly every measure the Army Corps studied. Everything from complex noises like the sound of a motor underwater to an engineered channel, which is a concrete structure that will be installed downstream of the Brandon Road Lock and Dam. They also want to implement something called water jets. So those are just like jets of water that will stop fish that are hanging on to different barges.
And so a few environmental groups have already done some speaking out about this report. And what are they saying about this report?
So a lot of the groups are glad that the study's finally out, but they think a lot of time has been wasted. This report was originally scheduled to be released in February. So between now and then, they've lost a lot of time they could use kind of gaining public comment on this report and learning more about how to prevent Asian carp.
And so the Trump administration delayed this. Why did it take so long for it to be released?
Well, we've heard that the Asian carp have it was concern from the shipping industry that really prompted the delay of the report. They were worried about the navigation impacts that electric barriers might cause to ships that are using that waterway, as well as the reliability of the Brandon Road Lock to get from one place to another. There's also the safety impact that people were worried about with electric barriers that are shocking fish.
Right, and so let's just talk about this. Why are Asian carp so bad in the water?
Well, they're really greedy. So they eat the plankton and the fish that native fish to the Great Lakes need to feed. So with Asian carp inserted into the food chain, that would really hurt the fish that we already have here and that are being used in commercial fishing and recreational fishing as well. As you've probably seen from a video, they jump a lot too, which is a big safety hazard to people out on the lake.
Right, and that's how they can get to other lakes. And so looking to the future, what efforts are being put in place to prevent Asian carp from getting into other waterways?
Well, we've seen a lot of different solutions tried and millions of dollars put into trying to solve this problem. This report calls for a $275 million implementation plan, which I talked about a little bit earlier. And so we'll have to wait several years to see this project finally implemented, and there will be a public comment period until September 21st where people can talk about what they would like to see from the report and what they haven't seen yet.
All right, well, Elizabeth Miller, thanks so much.